The time is overdue to develop a new screening test for the threats we face today. I call it extreme vetting. I call it extreme vetting.
Donald Trump on the campaign trail calling for that extreme vetting of people from countries connected to terrorism as the terror threat increases. In fact, according to our parent website, Newsmax.com, Sunni extremists, would-be terrorists, are infiltrating our nation along our porous border with Mexico, aided by smugglers from South America. A reminder to you that you can join in on our conversation at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. And for more on this, we're pleased to be joined by talk show host and political commentator Allyn Root. Wayne is the author of the new book, Angry White Male: How the Donald Trump Phenomenon is Changing America and What We Can All Do to Save the Middle Class. Hey, Wayne, you hear that report about Sunni terrorists trying to cross our border. It looks like we need to be doing something immediate to deal with that, but it doesn't appear Mr. Obama has it within his ability to actually deal with this problem.
No, listen, I don't need to say I told you so, JD. That's why I wrote a book called Angry White Male, and inside that book is the story of me being a friend with a border agent on the San Diego border, and he told me that they had captured, this was about 1 year ago, they had captured 13 Muslims, I believe from Pakistan, in a 48-hour period that had never happened in the history of the border agency as long as he'd been there. He'd been there about 20 years, and he wanted me to keep his name anonymous so he couldn't get fired. He was telling me information that is not public information. And I went with it to the media, and not a single media person would print it. Nobody wanted to print it. No one wanted to talk about it. Not even conservative media wanted to touch it until he had proof. And then he sent me photos of the Pakistani Muslims being captured at the border. He had taken photos on his iPhone. And at that point, one conservative media outlet did publish my story that our nation is being infiltrated, wide open border, anybody can walk across. It's up till now been Mexicans and Central Americans, Hondurans, El Salvadorians who want welfare, food stamps. They're bankrupting the country. Some of them, as Donald says, are bad people, gangbangers, tattoos on their face, murderers, rapists. But now we're getting Muslims, and you don't know how many of them are Al-Qaeda, how many of them are Taliban, how many are ISIS, how many are here to commit terrorist acts that will kill hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of Americans. What kind of a madman, JD, leaves a border purposely wide open? And the answer is somebody who wants America to fundamentally change.
Well, let's be fair about this, Wayne, because 10 years ago I wrote my book, Whatever It Takes, and I talked about the ranches in southern Arizona, and sadly there was a Republican president who was slow to get the message too. So it's been bipartisan. Obviously, this has been a big part of Donald Trump's campaign, and yet over the weekend there were some media reports claiming that Mr. Trump was flip-flopping on this issue after he sought some input and ideas about what should be done with those who have entered the country illegally. Earlier today, Trump refuted those flip-flop claims. Let's look and listen.
We have to be very firm. We have to be very, very strong when people come in illegally. We have a lot of people that want to come in through the legal process. It's not fair for them. And we're working with a lot of people in the Hispanic community to try and come up with an answer.
So you're not flip-flopping?
No, I'm not flip-flopping.
Donald Trump earlier today on Fox and Friends on the Fox News channel. Look, you've been around politics a long time. You were involved in the national campaign as a candidate, vice presidential candidate for the Libertarians back in 2008. Do you believe this is an example of the leftist media working with Hillary Clinton to try and confuse Trump supporters, in fact, take support away from Donald Trump?
Yeah, it depends what your definition of flip-flop is. I think it's totally fair for a candidate to bring up a fantastic issue. Donald did, the only one in the country, even in the entire Republican Party, that wanted to tackle a wall and securing the border and illegal immigration and sanctuary cities, and then trying to play with it a little bit, massage it, and make it perfect. It's like when Donald said, let's ban all Muslims from entering America. Well, I agree with the general idea, but it needed to be massaged a little bit, and now he's come up with the perfect answer. Number one, you're not banning Muslims based on religion. You're banning people who come from terrorist nations. And number two, you're going to do extreme vetting. That's completely fair. That's smart. That's a brilliant change. Same thing with the border. I argued from day one, the candidate who was the strongest on the border, JD, in immigration, illegal immigration, and who admitted there's terrible crimes, atrocities committed in America by illegals would win the Republican nomination. But I never said we should deport the people here. I said we should end sanctuary cities, build a wall, end welfare for
Well,
illegals.
see, this is where you and I disagree, because people who break our laws need to be sent home. Failing to do that sets up a situation where it is going to invite more people here. But there's something else, and this is just where I disagree with Mr. Trump as well. There needs to be a complete moratorium on all immigration until we get things changed. But let me switch to another topic. Let me switch to another topic here, and it's the fact that Mr. Trump is reaching out to African American voters, saying that Democrats have failed them, and it's a pretty unique approach. Let's listen to what Mr. Trump had to say, then get your reaction.
Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those I say the following: what do you have to lose by trying something new like Trump? What do you have to lose?
So predictably, again on the left and from some major media outlets, there is criticism for that approach. Your thought on that invitation, Wayne?
I love the approach. Listen, I wrote a commentary. It'll be out tomorrow at top conservative websites around the country. The big November surprise for Trump is going to be the largest historic black vote for a Republican president in modern history. Now, I'm not predicting Trump's winning the black vote. What I am predicting is Donald Trump will get a full 15% of the black vote. That sounds pathetic. Hillary will get 85%, but that's far more than either McCain or Romney got. I think Trump has an outside shot of getting 20%, and I think he needs to start going into black communities. He needs to make speeches from the streets of Chicago, the inner cities of Baltimore and Detroit. He needs to go to historically black churches. He needs to make his case to black people right in front of them where they feel his power, his passion, his energy, and his heart. I know that Donald wants to really help African Americans because I have a best friend of mine who's a best friend of Donald's who's known Donald 20 years and says that is, in fact, what's in Donald's heart. It's not about winning the election. Someone's got to be a champion of black Americans that I believe are getting completely screwed over and abandoned by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the Democratic Party. They want their votes, but they do nothing for them. And in reality, they want them poor, dependent, living on government handouts, so they will always vote Democrat reliably so that they keep getting their checks. I want to offer them jobs, and Donald wants to offer them jobs. And I think if you go after them and you do it from inside the black community and you walk the streets and you do it in black churches, the guy who wrote Angry White Male believes the key to winning the election will be getting 15% of the black vote. That will put Donald over the top.
All right, well, let's talk about that book. A couple of minutes remain. It's released, I believe, officially tomorrow, Angry White Male. Now, some will see that title, and they'll say, anger only gets you so far. What do you want people to learn from your new book? 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, we have a right to be angry. I don't think anyone ever said, or certainly today they don't say, black people, when they were being persecuted, when they were enslaved, when they weren't allowed to vote, when there were poll taxes, when they were treated like second-class citizens, when they were being hosed by policemen in the South. Do people today say they had no right to complain and be angry? I think that the middle class is under attack. It happens to be 79% white. That stat comes from Pew Research. Small business is under attack. It happens to be 85% white. 28 million small business owners, JD, CNBC reports, 85% white. But that means there are millions of black, Hispanic, Asian small business owners who are collateral damage of the Democratic Party. They're looking to destroy us with taxes, with spending, with regulations, with IRS audits, with Obamacare, with climate change. You name it, we're being attacked from every direction. And the book is named after me. It's just my testimony. I'm a white middle-class kid from the Bronx borderline who was taught by my parents to believe in certain things as what made America great. I believe in God. I believe in country. I believe in family. I believe in American exceptionalism, capitalism, the U.S. Constitution, small business, personal responsibility, and the police and the military. And every one of those, unless you're blind, deaf, and dumb, every one of those is under massive attack in the United States of America for the last 50 years, but particularly the last 8 years of Barack Obama. And when I went to Columbia University, in the chapters in the book, Angry White Male, I saw it all in effect. I saw the plan. I met all the white, liberal, rich, spoiled brat kids who said they hated white people and wanted to bring down this country.
Well, you know, it sounds like an intriguing read, and it'll be available tomorrow. The only thing I can say is the title of the book may be Angry White Male, but you're smiling on the cover. Our friend Wayne Allyn Root with us tonight. When we come back, New York Times bestselling author Dick Morris here to talk about Hillary Clinton and some of her troubles. Stay tuned.